another My Little Podcast. We are your hosts. I am Bree. I'm here with my brother Bryson.
Hello.
My father Gary.
Hello.
And my mother Shelly. Hi. Today we're going to be chatting with you about we had our Wednesday video, which we have been calling the midweek peak. And then of course we have our weekly peak that came out as well last week. The midweek peak was on the new resin printer that Bryson did.
That's right. Pretty epic.
Yeah. And then, of course, our weekly peak was on, what all did we have? And we had Grandma's bottle thing that she showed us. So cute that she wanted to show us that, where she melted a bottle into something for Debbie, our Aunt Debbie. We had...
van conversion? Did you already say that?
Yeah, we had the van conversion. We did some pallets. Garen put up some pallets.
And I think Shay dyed a dress.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, the
We got the
dress.
great reveal on the dress that came in, which was super awesome.
Yeah, those hand coloring was all worth it, wasn't it?
Yeah.
People were guessing. I wonder what her hands are all dyed for,
I
you know?
I feel like it was quite the conspiracy theory. So, for a little while, it's pretty awesome. So, I thought that we could start with, we had some really great questions that came out on the midweek peak last week on the resin printer. Some people inquiring about some extra information. We had Charlie Garrett ask, so what software do you use to design your own parts?
Well, at the current, I mainly use a software that was done by Autodesk. 123 Design is the name of it. And they stopped development on it, but it's still usable, so I still use it because I'm used to that program. But you could use all different kinds, but I use it because it's free.
It can't beat free.
You can't
That's
beat
a lovely
free.
price.
But yeah, works with Mac too, which is handy.
Yeah, which is where the operating system that we work in for all of our stuff. We game in Windows and work in Mac, usually.
Yep, pretty much.
So, and then we had another one by VDG Jolly. It says, how is the quality of the surface compared to a 3D printer of the same price range?
Like you mean like an FDM? Does he mean like an FDM?
I think he's just talking about like what the surface is like, because I know that in the 3D printers, at least the parts that you have had, they'll have lines and stuff, and I noticed with the resin printer it was smooth. It was like it was
beautiful. I mean,
yeah,
like
there's no texture on it.
I mean, like that part is like ready to go. Like you pull it off, rinse it, and it's done.
It's done.
I mean, after you cure it and stuff, but yeah, it's done. It's just crazy. You could paint it at where it's at right now and it'd be beautiful.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know, like compared to like my other printer, which is the Delta type printer, and it's a FDM style, you can see those lines. You can feel them and see them.
Mm-hmm.
Usually you have to sand the part down, or if it's ABS, sometimes you can do like an acetone bath sometimes. But yeah, usually.
Now they cracked pretty easy though. Like we dropped them and they just.
Yeah, they did seem to bust a little easier than normal. I mean, the parts are really small. Like it's it's a lot smaller piece than what you normally would have, which is the idea to have it. But so I don't know, I don't know how the plastic's gonna hold up quite as much. Like it doesn't seem as sturdy as others plastics.
Now let me ask you a question that builds on that. Is I know that it needs
I thought it was hard though.
You needed a
You
certain...
punned and didn't even know it.
Yeah, that's pretty much all my puns. Oh wait, that was a pun. No. You needed a certain kind of light to harden the material.
Yeah, the UV, the UV light to harden it.
If you talked about the sun being just a little bit too harsh of a UV light, and you talked about creating a bed of better light.
I'm not really too sure. I know when I pulled the resin off when I pulled the part off the first time, it was white, and then when I put it out in the sun, it turned yellow. So I don't know if I just over cured it or if that's even possible. I don't really know. I was thinking maybe the sun was a little too harsh on it, but I don't know. But yeah.
Maybe it has to do with the length of time too. How long was it in the sun?
Length of time, I think it's the UV. Because you have a UV light, but there's a whole span of UV, wavelength wise, and it's through a certain wavelength that it really affects it. So maybe and I think the sun blasts everything from A to Z, doesn't it? I don't know. I'm not really too sure.
Well,
I have
we'll
no
have to
idea.
figure that out. I guess that'll be something that will be experimented with as we go on. We had.
Would you mind if I move this?
No,
forward?
I know that we
Sorry, I wanted to say one more thing on the materials too, because you kind of asked about that.
Was that quiet enough?
That was so quiet.
Sorry.
I would compare it closer to ABS plastic, the resin, because it's not so much. It's not flexible. It's just any little flex snaps. You know, it's like a really hard plastic. But yeah. So like it shatters opposed to, you know, bending then snapping.
Are you trying to tell us a story?
No, I was just saying that because if you compare it to like
did.
the FDM printers, like the Deltas and stuff like that, MakerBots.
It doesn't relate to that thing I dropped and shattered. That was crazy.
That was a little weird though. That was of a hollow part.
Yeah.
It shouldn't work as well.
It looked awesome though.
Yeah,
even broken, it looks awesome.
Yeah, it was a template anyway. So
I thought I could just break, like, I put a little platform on it. I thought I could just break the platform off, and I ended up busting like the whole piece apart. I was like,
well, now, okay, so I got a little bit of a story to tell. We don't know how this 3D printer stuff works, the resin whole concept, and me and Mom were quietly taking bets as Bryson just pours a bunch of that resin in the bed. We're like, how could you not measure? What are you doing? It's just going to be one solid piece of plastic that's just going to come out of there. That's not going to work. Because I didn't know how it worked.
We were dependent on that for the Wednesday video. Mm-hmm. So I said to Bree, I don't know if this is going to turn out because you're never careless like that.
No.
But you just went, oh, let's just ha.
This time I decided to send it.
And we're going, that didn't seem right. But he told me later that it doesn't matter. The extra residue just stays in there. So
yeah.
But we didn't know that at the time.
Afterwards, it was like we got it all figured. But at first, I was like, dude, I'm thinking he's gonna have a plastic brick that he pulls out of there. Is kind of what I was thinking.
I thought so too. Yeah.
So and this was kind of a question that came up quite a bit on that, and this was I'm One Ugly Guy says, I've never seen that one that prints from a liquid. When the print is done, do you just pour the rest back into the bottle?
Yeah, you can. And I think if you're gonna set the printer for a while, you want to, but if you're gonna be printing with it the next day or something, you know, it's probably okay to leave the resin in there. But if you're gonna store it, then you probably want to, because the resin will eventually harden in there. And that's part too, like if you look at the glass, how it's shaded a certain color, it's designed to keep UV light from getting in. That can harden the plastic, is the design of it. But from what I heard, if you leave it in there long enough, it will eventually harden. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we got schooled, Mom. It was great though. It was awesome.
I was thinking too, you also were putting a bag.
Yeah, I put like a bag over there, because the funny part is
paper bag.
You think about light not being an issue, so you're like, you should block off the light, but UV light bugs can see, and bugs go after, and we have like a lot of little tiny gnats and bugs that we have, and I left it overnight one time printing, and I came back with a part that was just bugs all over it, all in the resin and everything, because they'd gotten in the container. I'm not even sure how they got in there, but they got in there.
Wow.
So I've been putting a plastic bag over the top of it, or a paper bag over the top of it, to cover it completely, because of that very reason.
Oh, it's bugs. It's to get it bug proof.
Bug proof when I'm printing with it, and even when I'm not too, just to help keep light out of there too.
That makes sense. All right. And I think this is the last question on the resin printer. And this was because there was a lot of curiosity. I think much like
it's
me,
really
too.
cool.
I mean, not that I'm well versed in this particular field, but I had never seen anything print from liquid before, and that was kind of cool. So definitely a new experience.
It's amazing.
And so this was another question that came up. Rick Bolt says, "How was the smell? Did they have a strong chemical smell, like the parts? I'm assuming themselves."
You know, I didn't really notice much of a smell.
You didn't give it a whiff.
It's not really.
Did you? I know it smells.
I think I think they used to, because I hear people talking about it a lot, but I didn't notice at all. There is something there, but I don't know if I could explain it. Like, you feel like it's something there, but you know, you don't really.
Yeah, and I think we got up that morning and smelled something horrible, we'd say, "Get that printer out!" And I don't remember ever feeling that way, like it was stinking up the kitchen.
And I mean, like, some people say some people get headaches from it and stuff, so you want to put it in a well ventilated area anyway. You should anyway. Which that room's big enough, and we usually have windows and stuff, so it's not biggie there. But yeah, because of that very reason. But I really didn't smell much or anything. I thought it was extremely pleasant to print with. Like I thought it would be kind of messy. Like the resin would be messy too. But if you're careful, it's not bad at all. I really like it. And any resin that spills on the outside will harden like plastic eventually. So you can just take it and peel it off.
Nice.
Kind of,
all right.
from my experience.
In this weekly peek, we also talked about in place where we want our outdoor tub to be. There was a wee bit of confusion on whether there's going to be walls on it or not. Just a tiny bit.
Oh, it's interesting. We cut that line out that you said. You threw your arm out and said there will be walls, so you won't be. That line that you had in there, I kind of regretted pulling that, but I
think it was. I don't know if it was many because I think folks were excited to suggest stuff for the walls, but just in case there was any confusion on that, it is going to be walled in. We don't plan on bathing with the neighbors. It's not.
No.
We need some privacy.
Even though the neighbors are very far away, there's still a driveway.
So anyway, Stephanie Hausler says, question, are you going to make a glass bottle wall around the outdoor tub?
Yes and no. We're going to do a combination of earth bags since we keep going back to earth bags because it's just what we know. We know those best. And then we're going to also be putting bottle designs in there, probably frogs and maybe cactus. And I don't know. We'll see how fancy we can get. I'm hoping that as we go, we'll get better and better at our bottle art and have a lot of fun designs kind of embedded inside. But they won't be... I don't believe we'll do it all the way through because of that wall wanting it to be private. So we'll probably just have the bottles seen from the outside, maybe even a design seen from the inside, but no light that goes all the way through is what I'm thinking.
Okay. Yeah, because I was even thinking you might not. Obviously, you're not gonna be able to see through those bottles even if there's light going through them. But I think just for your personal. Like you'll feel better knowing that nobody. Yeah,
and I think you can see some like the bottle that's in Shay's wall is actually awful like a window, And I'll bet you if you put your eyeball up to the.
Ooh, hello.
Oh yes, stop, please.
And I'll bet you that if you put your eyeball up to the flower in the kitchen, I'll bet you can see through that as well. So you're right, just be a little bit more secure. And the glass will still make nice designs.
Oh, it'll be so fun! I can't wait. Glass and tub areas are just really fun, especially when they're colored and stuff. So we had Steve Mayer says, for the outdoor tub, how about building a grotto using rocks from the property and a recirculating waterfall that flows into the tub?
Oh, would that be cool?
That would be really cool. You can combine that with the aquaponics system.
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh.
So you're taking water in the...
Aquaponics. You're taking it from the aquaponics. You're pumping it back in. Pumping it around.
We need to get some big rocks.
There's only one. I couldn't quite combine it to the aquaponics because of soaps and other things we couldn't put in there.
Let's take the aquaponics out just for a moment.
And just did a waterfall?
I'm going to have breakfast. I'm going to have a glass of water. Hey, let's combine it with the aquaponics.
So I'm thinking...
joke.
Actually, it wouldn't be too bad.
I'm still thinking about it.
If you drain the water off from the aquaponics to fill it. And then you put the water somewhere else afterwards.
Well, now going back to the bathtub and the grotto idea, that's an excellent idea. I mean, what if we got some big rocks and instead of doing bags through there, we actually... You remember the show we watched?
I
the
know.
guy with the swimming pools? It was so awesome. Could we do something like just around here?
So you'd have
insane?
So hang on. So wait. Let me see if I can paint the
picture.
If
we covered the rocks with resin, they would pop. Although I don't know if UV resin is.
I'm thinking. Remember that guy would bring in large rocks. I'm guessing that's what the suggestion is too. The large rocks, and you build them up. And remember, isn't that what the grotto was? This idea, and then water coming out of that.
Yeah.
Oh, Gary.
Okay, so hang on.
No?
So let me see if I...
No, that's a great idea.
Let me see if I...
I got all the time in the world to put that together.
You just worry about putting the bathtub in.
Okay.
Getting the foundation laid, getting the window in, or not the window, but the door to access it. We just have to worry about that.
The functional stuff.
And then the artistic stuff, we can do.
Well,
you don't have
I'm
to,
very artistic. I just
well,
don't
yeah,
have time
but
to
I
do
just
both.
mean, I just mean you don't have to,
Well, and
but where
you're-
did we get the rocks? I love this idea. Though.
Well, I think that there's a place where you buy your gravel and that kind of stuff. I believe they sell large rocks as well.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Okay, so let me see if I understand.
We may even have some on the property.
So the walls
somewhere,
get so you got the tub. The tub functions like a normal tub, and then you have the rocks are the wall, and you have this. It's up high enough so nobody can see it, and then you have inside the rocks. You do it in such a way, and you put the stucco in and stuff so that it all so water comes from the aquaponics in through the grotto and then back through. It just recirculates.
Not the aquaponics. We've taken the aquaponics out.
I was just trying to think of water.
Yeah, no more
but
aquaponics.
There's already a pump there for the tub, right?
Okay.
It's a jacuzzi tub.
Right.
I don't know if we could tap into that and circulate it. He's looking at me odd.
I'm thinking. Actually,
Yes, actually, you could.
It would work. I had another idea. Is why don't we sculpt the types of rocks you want from the earth bags? Build the earth bags, put an arch in. Maybe something like that. I don't know.
Have you seen?
Buy those big rocks.
Have you seen like those little caves, like under a waterfall you can go into?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Obviously, we can't quite do that. Well, maybe we could, but you know what I mean. Like maybe kind of cave it over the.
Oh, I was just thinking wall, but I was not thinking. Like
big rock on top.
It's not going to be a cave.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking because one of the things that we like about the outdoor shower is just to be able to look up at the sky. And that's so I'm thinking the tub would be the same way. You'd want to see the sky.
So maybe what you could do is the pump that powers the jacuzzi part in there. You run a line off that goes up into the wall, and the water can flow along the top of the wall, get heated. Maybe there's like a black pipes up there or something, and then it comes back down into the tub. Because
I think in that show, I'm trying to remember that. What was it? Swimming. He put in swimming pools. I can't remember the name of that
in
show.
Florida.
But I think that's what he did. Just PVC. I think it was PVC pipe, just buried inside the rock.
And then it came out of the rock and fell back in.
Yeah, we could look at some of those shows again.
Oh, that'd be super cool to do those.
And that water noise of having that flowing would be
so peaceful.
It'd be very peaceful.
I'm really hoping that whatever we settle on doing, which I really like the rock thing, it's really tranquil in that area. That would be super cool.
Yeah, it would be.
Okay, so Hipster Gardener says, I need one of those saws to cut pallets. What is it called? This is the saw that Garen opened up. I believe it's called a chop saw.
Chop saw?
I don't think it was a chop saw.
It was a chop saw?
It was the reciprocal saw, I believe.
Recip saw?
You know, the one that she used to take the pallets apart?
No. Not
I'm
that
sorry.
one. The new one.
Oh, right.
That's a chop.
You're
It's
right.
a chop,
It
right?
is a chop saw.
The one now, but just in case you're talking about that particular saw, that one, it would be a Sawzall, right?
Oh, right.
It's called the Sawzall.
Which one? The one the DeWalt that Garen just
Not
bought?
the DeWalt.
Not the one that Ellie used to take apart the pallets.
So that's
the
a Sawzall.
right?
Sawzall.
Yeah,
So we got a Sawzall, and then the chop saws. The chop saw is what they open.
Actually, Sawzall is the name of the company.
Oh, so you
it's
probably
a reciprocal saw.
Oh, it's a reciprocal.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So that's what you
That's the
mean.
name of the tool.
Okay, we're all right.
Sorry. So we get it here someday.
Eventually.
All right. Okay, so I thought maybe, Mom, you might and I might be able to help with this particular question because this really is a Shay question. But Frankie Carell says, how did you keep the dye from washing out? I tried dyeing a t-shirt and eventually it faded away and looked awful. Just wondering how it looks. Now it looks great. I love it. Okay, so from the tiny bit of dyeing knowledge that I have, I'm looking to Mom because I'm sure she has more than me.
I don't know.
But you have on the back of the, like if you're going to dye with RIT dye, you have to know what kind of material you're going to be dyeing. Some material doesn't dye. So you want to, I don't know.
Polyesters.
Polyesters and stuff. But
Nylons.
you can look on the back of the
Actually,
RIT
nylons.
dye and they'll tell you what you mix with the dye in order to keep it keep the color
Yeah,
on
like
it. So
salts and
salts. I think
yeah.
there's vinegar on some, but it just
Fats.
depends on.
depending
You can
on the
even buy
material.
chemicals.
I think
yeah.
you even
Depends
have
on
to heat up
material.
the water too to make it work too.
Yeah, and
on
then
some.
everything is done in a heated thing, and but you'll have to do a little research on your material and then also the dye that you're using. You might need to add, like Mom said, salts or vinegars or
Yeah,
whatever,
and the
I don't
first
know.
time that Ellie washes that dress, she will
fade.
lose a little bit of it. That'll be just
But
a
it's
natural.
a light color anyway.
Yeah.
So it's
It,
not real
it probably
Yeah.
won't matter. But.
I think you have to just like if you're gonna dye your hair or whatever. I think you have to. You probably want to wash it by itself when it first goes in. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. Well, she'd wash that by hand anyway. Cause
Otherwise, those
Probably
white
would.
shirts
I know
you
my
used
mom-
to have, no longer white.
Grandma right away went, "Oh, were they able to get the tub clean?" That's all she knows. And I thought, well, yeah, they must have been able to, because she was concerned about that.
yeah, for sure. Okay, so we had a kind of a fun question from Taffy Royal, and Taffy asks, "How tall is everyone?"
Oh,
This is an interesting question because you
Oh,
you
boy.
might only see us as maybe a foot or two tall, depending on the big screen, right? But usually we're maybe even a few inches. So I know.
Should we start with the tallest person in the room?
Yeah, we probably should.
The problem is I don't know my height.
We don't measure,
6.
but we can guess.
you were taller than Perry, and Perry's 6'1".
Yeah, you're 6'2".
I was taller than Perry.
Yeah, you were taller than Perry, so you're probably about 6'2", maybe, huh?
Garen's about
Wow.
6'1".
I didn't know that.
Garen's 6'1"?
You think?
6.
No.
He's 6 foot at least.
He might be just 6 foot.
I think he might
maybe,
be 6. I'm
maybe
about
5'11".
Or 6'10". I'm about 5'10". I'm about 6'10".
Amazon woman.
She plays basketball on the
Yeah.
side. So you're not as tall as Garen.
No, but I'm taller than Dad.
By
Okay,
a smidge.
so Garen has got to be then.
Yeah, smidge.
Garen's probably just somewhere around
He's
6
way
foot.
up here.
He's around 6. He convinces me, you can't be 5'10", Bree. I'm not 5'10". And then I've always had that in my head. I'm like, but I'm taller than Dad, and Dad's 5'10". So you're taller than you think you are.
Are you 5'10"?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
How tall do you think you are?
Well, I was at one time. I was between 5'8" and 5'9", so I think I shrunk a little
You're
bit
about
though.
5'9", I guess.
Probably 9, then maybe shrinking a little bit.
Okay.
Now Shay, she's been the surprising one because she's always the shortest in the family, and I think she's close to my height
Yeah,
now.
I think so.
Oh, is
too.
she?
Yep.
Yeah, she's.
I don't know
Yeah,
this, so
so she's probably 5'8", 5'9", somewhere in there.
somewhere in there,
Wow.
Yeah.
The
Jocelyn
girls,
was telling me last night
yeah.
that Riley is taller than Jocelyn now.
Wow.
Whoa.
Wow.
She's like 14 maybe, or 10 or 12 or something like
Wow.
that. Holy cow.
I feel like
And
she's
just to
Ooh.
update you, if you don't know, Jocelyn is Gary's daughter from a previous
Yes.
marriage, and so she's got a couple girls, married to Eddie,
Yeah.
a nice little family.
It came out. They're in some of the videos.
Yeah, you saw.
Yeah. So,
But anyway,
But
the
yeah, so
granddaughter's
Riley.
like taller than her mom right now, and she's like just barely into. She's just in junior high, I think, first year.
yeah.
Yeah,
I was
she's-
just surprised. I was
Wow.
like, I mean, I knew how old she was, but then when she told me how old she was, I was like, dude, you look 16, bro. I don't know.
I
what
know
you're
she
talking
seems so much older
about.
because
She
she's
does.
so
Yeah.
tall.
She's tall.
Yeah.
And
Her dad's
she
tall.
acts grown
Yeah,
up,
her
so.
dad's tall. He's way above 6 foot. I
Yeah.
don't know what he is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I feel like the women in our family, we get a growth spurt at like 17.
A late one, which
we
is
get
unusual.
a late one, and we grow
Yeah.
like a couple inches when we grow. Like we
Yeah,
get
that's
really-
what happened to both you and Shay and
Yeah.
me at your age as well.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. So the three of us were like, God's like, we need to come up just a little bit higher on you.
I
Not
remember.
quite there yet.
I remember the debate that Garen and Bryson always had about who was taller.
Oh, that ended.
And then it ended when Bryson went about 2 inches taller.
Then I was
Garen
looking
could no
down on
longer
him. No.
Take pictures standing on his toes and that kind
It
of thing he
didn't
was
work.
doing. Yeah.
yeah. At
He
one
always
point-
bragged about being taller, and
Okay,
then
so now-
suddenly he wasn't taller
Yeah,
anymore.
Now, can we guess how tall Ellie is?
Oh, Ellie, let's see.
Oh.
Okay, so I want to
She's-
say she's definitely the shortest in the
Shay,
family at
though.
the moment.
Yeah.
But she's shade.
Well, Azalea
Azalea.
is the shortest.
Okay, yeah, but that doesn't count. She don't count just yet. She's not reached her full
course she
potential.
counts.
Of course she
She
counts.
hasn't reached her full potential. It's not fair. Okay, so
She might be tall.
at one time, Ellie was the tallest out of all of us.
Really?
kids.
Well, she's a little bit older than everybody.
Yeah.
too.
Even
she
Garen
is.
and even
Okay,
Garen.
Garen
Yeah.
had the late. We teased him. He got teased because he got his height later. You know.
Oh, no wonder he
Oh.
teased me, because
yeah.
you guys were always teasing him about his height. He had to get
I don't
somebody
know if
back.
I probably did, but I don't remember teasing him. But I remember him catching a lot of guff for being
Oh,
shorter.
okay.
And then So he always had something to prove, and then he got tall, so it didn't work. It didn't matter, but Ellie, I don't know how tall Ellie is. You want to say?
She's as tall as Shay, isn't she? Dead silent.
I don't think she's because I don't think she's as tall as me. Is my guess. I don't know. I'll have to see where we'll have to see measure where she is.
I
I'm
want
all
to say
wise.
like 5'6".
Yeah, she's probably somewhere in there.
It's funny,
5'7".
She might be there.
How height determines a lot for things like driving and getting into the car.
Especially bumping your head on things.
I never bump my head on stuff. It has nothing to do with height. It's just pure stupidity. But anyway, yeah.
Well, let's be honest. Your height is all from all torso, right?
True.
So getting in the car is difficult for you. Like you have your.
Those your legs.
Oh, is that my legs?
I have pretty much all my height. I feel
Pug
is in my
legs.
torso as well. I don't have long legs. Mom has longer legs than me. And
I
then
like to think I'm pretty even, but
you're pretty even all the way through.
I don't know if I really am.
I've got this tall torso. So we were just joking last night about overalls and how they never make long enough torsos for overalls. I would love to wear them.
Yeah.
They're just never long enough.
Could you extend it with like a ribbon in the between? Like just cut it and then sew in like
That's pretty much what I need.
No.
Yeah. I don't know.
Hand
and
it over to
Ellie
Shay.
was like, Ellie, the
the
smart one's like, well, Bree, you could just go to a store and I bet you they have the size. And I was like, oh, you mean instead of going to thrift stores? Okay.
I think you'd bump into the same problem.
Probably. Well.
Yeah, but for the cost of those overalls, you could buy 16 sets of overalls.
Yeah,
they're
just
so
like
expensive.
patch them together. Yeah. But who knows? Okay, so this was on last week's podcast, which we filmed in the pink room at Grandma and Grandpa's house.
Right.
We are now in Shay's room filming here
Back on
today.
Homestead.
We are.
Yeah. And now
We like to move around.
Pingu
It's fun.
Lu 112 says, what happened to Chloe? Okay, now I got to give you some background on Chloe. Chloe was
Chloe.
the calf from our mini Jersey cow that we had a while back.
A long
We
while
had
back.
Ellie. That was the name of the
Ellie,
cow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in our defense, it wasn't named after Ellie, which is who was a friend
It
at
came
the
as an
time.
Ellie.
Well, yeah, she had. And
It was
one
confusing.
of the ice ages. There was one of the. I think it was one of the mammoths or whatever had
named
a
Ellie.
cuff like
Yeah.
Ellie, and we were like, "Oh, she looks like
From
an
Ice
Ellie."
Age?
Yeah, from
Yeah.
Ice Age.
Oh, yeah.
And then
Yeah.
we're like, after we had named her and like committed, then we were like, "Oh my gosh, what about Ellie? I hope she doesn't get offended because it's like the same name." And she was like,
that's how
"Yeah,
it
dude,
went.
it's cool." So
Yeah.
anyway, that was Ellie, and then Chloe was the little calf that she had because she came pregnant.
And then Chloe had Mackenzie.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah. And we ended up getting rid of the cows because I was a piker and a complainer, and I was not going to milk a cow.
You're
No,
not a
that's
piker.
we actually we were milking both cows and goats, and you guys didn't like the cow milk.
No,
Yeah.
we didn't really. To be
That's
fair.
really
It didn't.
what it added up to. So, yeah, so we found homes for them.
Yeah, we did. It was a long time to milk too. I remember the milk was you were there for me. I suppose I did like the
Yeah,
goat's
unlike
milk,
a
though.
goat where you have 2, you got 4.
Yeah, cause so like you get a goat done in like 7 minutes tops. You just done. You can do like 3 of them. It's not a big deal. But then a cow, that's like a half an hour experience, and that was. I'm a little hyperactive. That was a lot. so
I bet you
wasn't
if we had
too
a
keen on
milking
that.
machine, it wouldn't be that bad.
Probably wouldn't be that bad. If we had to do cows, we probably would have done that.
It really was the flavor of the milk.
Yeah.
though.
Yeah.
We had
It
gotten
really
so
was.
used to goat's milk that you guys all wanted the goat's milk.
Yeah, and then
so.
it would separate. Like the cream would separate, and we were like, "What is wrong with it, Mom?" Because goat's milk doesn't do that. So we were like, "Something, it's broken, Mom."
It's broken. Fix a cow.
Yeah. So, well, that wraps up the questions and comments that we had on those 2 videos. Did we have anything else that we wanted to add before we wrap it up today?
I'm just gonna get a little shot of
Oh, okay. So we
Of
have a
Chipperdoo.
little armchair, and Chip. Okay, so
Oh, yeah, we do.
Shay's room has 2 has 2 levels. It's got the higher level, and then it comes into kind of a sinking area where like the bed might go and stuff, a little sunk area. And Chip is terrified of stairs, but Bryson was gentle enough.
Yeah, I was just sitting over there with him, and he decided to tackle
do it. Wow.
He was like, "I'm going to tackle these."
He was a little brave guy and went toddling down the stairs, and he's so excited about himself.
You know, maybe he thought he was jumping off my lap.
I don't know what he thought.
I really don't know, but he got down.
He did so good.
He did really good.
And so now he's reaping the reward. He's sitting in the little armchair over there. So
enjoying it.
He's enjoying it. He's like, "Yep."
He's had a fear of steps though. Yeah. I don't know what's happened in the past. Maybe we weren't here. Something happened, and he will not go down steps. He gets very
not
afraid
even
of
for
those.
Food, which is truly saying something about a pug.
Yeah.
Okay,
which,
so
that's why it was such a miracle to have him go down these little one
yeah,
here.
It is. Okay, so Shay has a deck that has a staircase all the way up to it, and every so often he will climb up that space, and he gets stuck. So he stays up there, and you don't even know he's up there until you start walking by. It's like, and you're like, "Oh my gosh." He'll do that over and over and over. And I mean, like, he's probably been stuck for a few hours at times, you know?
Probably.
Poor guy. But he just keeps going up, and he can't get back down.
I mean, why does he go up?
Well,
we don't even know.
I think we've stopped him from doing it now, hopefully.
I don't know. He has been up there for a while now. So.
He forgets that he can't
He's
get
a
down.
bug.
Yeah, he's a bug.
No, he's got a little brain.
He's lovable.
He thinks in the moment, okay?
Yeah.
He wants to go up there. He doesn't worry about having to get down.
No,
That's for later.
I take care of that later. Anyway, he's a good little baby. He's a good little baby boy. All right, well, I think that's going to wrap it up for us today. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We're going to be back again on Wednesday. We're still not sure what that video is going to be. Sometimes we are sure. We know what we're doing, but something will come up, I'm sure. I know we have a couple of stuff.
Something fun.
I was thinking maybe we should put the dress all together in one. Because it got got so disjointed between the 2 weeks. You couldn't really... I don't know. Maybe not.
Yeah, maybe something
See
like
if,
that.
If that sounds, I'm not sure if that's a good idea or not. But
at some point, it definitely will get a full version because it's kind of fun.
because it's fun to put it all together, so someone can sit down and just watch it. You know, if someone is interested in converting a dress, they could see one way of which it was done. Yeah,
that'll be nice. I don't know. Who knows what'll be on that Wednesday, but that'll be in the future sometime. So anyway, thank you so much for hanging out with us and being a part of our family. We look forward to seeing you Wednesday for that midweek peek, and then Friday for the weekly peek.
Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Bye.
Bye.